When the photo shoot began, everything went according to plan. The lighting was set to precision. The styling team prepared 3 main sets of outfits that depicted the urban, sensual and minimalist sides of the latest Calvin Klein collection of the season. But something changed when the main photographer, already experienced in photographing the world's top celebrities, said with a slight shudder, "Let him lead." And this is where the unexpected happens. Jungkook rejects standard directives, such as "pose a little right" or "look into the camera." He took over the moment, walking toward the camera without warning, touching the denim fabric on his body and staring into the lens as if he were talking, not posing. On the monitor screen, the camera capture looks different. Not a single photo feels like an advertisement, everything feels like a story. The staff, who had originally only served as observers, suddenly fell silent. Some of them even admitted that they were goosebumps because the vibe that Jungkook emitted at that time was not made up. "He doesn't just wear clothes," says one of the lighting staff. "He makes the clothes come alive." Interestingly, in between photo shoots, Jungkook actually looks relaxed. He greeted the crew one by one, joked with photographers, and even managed to rearrange the music in the studio into his personal playlist. Songs from Frank Ocean, The Weeknd, and the New Jeans sounded alternately, and amid that music, Jungkook's aura was fickle, from gentle to intense, from shy to magnetic. It's as if he's literally telling a story through every photo. This is where many staff realize nothing is accidental. His movements, the look in his eyes, even the way he held his jacket, all seemed natural but had a precise visual rhythm. Some staff thought it was planned, but it wasn't. "He's just being himself," said one of the creative directors, "and that's what makes it all so amazing." There was one moment that shocked the entire Calvin Klein crew the most. As the lighting team was readjusting the color of the lights, Jungkook suddenly exited the main set and walked to a corner of the room. He found a large mirror, which should not have been used for the photo shoot, and stood in front of it for a few seconds. Without warning, he began to play with his own reflexes, staring, smiling a little, then changing his expression to a serious one. The photographer who saw the moment immediately reacted quickly, took a portable camera and began to shoot silently. The result? The 5 frames were later touted by the Calvin Klein team as the most human shots of Jungkook ever taken. In the photo, Jungkook doesn't look like a global star, but like a young man in dialogue with himself. There is a kind of visual honesty that no concept or direction of any stylist can create. As soon as the crew saw the photo on the screen, the studio was silent. One of the staff even said softly, "This is no ordinary Calvin Klein. This is something new." And sure enough, after that moment, the direction of shooting immediately changed. They let Jungkook lead the rest of the session. He determines poses, rhythms, and even asks for certain music to be played to set the mood. "He knows how to make the energy of space work for the camera," says the photographer. "It's an instinct that only a few people in the world have." After the session, many of the staff still couldn't stop talking about what they had just witnessed. One of the senior photo editors said that the result of this photo shoot even feels like a movie. Every frame has a story. Some of the photos seem sensual, some feel soft and melancholy, while others actually seem strong and full of character. But interestingly, they all share the same Seoul Jungkook's distinctive aura that is hard to describe, but always leaves a deep impression. Not only is he handsome, says a senior stylist, he understands how the world sees him, and he plays him like a director. Several theories arose among the staff. Some say Jungkook deliberately used this photo shoot as a form of self-reflection after a period of vacuum from solo activities. He wanted to prove to the world that Calvin Klein's concept could evolve beyond sensuality into human connection. Even a fashion industry expert interviewed by Vogue Korea magazine considered that what Jungkook was doing was part of Calvin Klein's global transformation. It brings an authentic value, not just the face of the brand, but a new energy that affirms that Calvin Klein is now more than just a body. It's about identity, he said. But behind it all, there is one thing that is most interesting. No one knows for sure whether Jungkook's actions at that time were planned or spontaneous. Some of the staff said that before the session began, Jungkook spoke to the production team with a short but mysterious phrase. "Let's not make this about me. Let's make this about the feeling." And that's where maybe all the amazing things started. When the photo shoot was finally released, the public reaction was overwhelming. Jungkook's photos dominated Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok timelines, creating a wave of discussion about how he managed to change the meaning of modern men's fashion icon. Many fans admitted to feeling connected to her expression, rather than just fascinated by the visuals. Even some international models commented on Jungkook's mysterious but honest style. The question is now, are those behind-the-scenes moments indeed part of Calvin Klein's grand strategy? Or is Jungkook himself unknowingly changing the course of the world fashion industry? To this day, there is no definite answer. But one thing is clear. That day, inside a modest studio in Manhattan, something changed. The Calvin Klein staffers who witnessed it knew they had just seen more than just a photo shoot. They witnessed a shift. And maybe, just maybe, it was the beginning of a new round of relations between Jungkook and the global fashion world. A round full of surprises, meanings, and silent statements louder than words. So Jungkook's photos for Calvin Klein were released, the virtual world passed. The Twitter timeline turned into a sea of black and white images with the same name behind every post, John Jungkook. However, this time people don't just talk about good looks or her Calvin Klein body. There is something else. Fashion lovers, designers, photography to world celebrities spoke up. "This is not just a campaign," wrote an editor from Harper's Bazaar, US. "This is a cultural moment." And sure enough, for the first time, the public got not only the visual results, but also the emotional mood that resulted from the photos. Many claimed that there was something in Jungkook's eyes that felt more human. It looks clear, yet powerful. Strong, yet full of intensity. This film is one of the best films ever made by a director who has worked in the studio of the light of the central lights. On the professional side of the industry, the photo immediately served as a case study. Some fashion analysts have argued that what Jungkook has done has redefined the way celebrity endorsements work. Usually, big brands like Calvin Klein create concepts around products. But this time, the concept came from the energy of the star. Even some of the staff did, after that moment, change Calvin Klein's global campaign direction to be more organic and personal to Jungkook's attention. One of the art directors at the brand's headquarters even called it the Jungkook effect. What is more clarifying, the reaction of the South Korean public to more complex. Many local media outlets published at length about how Jungkook is now not just a global brand model, but an icon who is redefining the image of a K-pop idol in the ranks of high fashion. In an interview with the Korea Times, a professor of popular culture said that Jungkook has become an emotional bridge between the world of fashion and the world of fans. He explained that Jungkook's language is not just limited to his appearance or physique, but to his ability to understand emotions that can be translated across visual languages. But, of course, not all responses are positive. There are also brothers and sisters who think that Jungkook is killing for a lingerie campaign. Some little understand his new style, too introspection, not too artistic. But precisely because of that, it became a big conversation. People started asking, is Jungkook writing a thank you message through this publisher? Or is this a reflection of a new phase of his career that is more personal, honest, and free from the constraints of idle images? Why did Calvin Klein choose from the start that Jungkook would make such an impact? Some analysis of my understanding of the meaning of this campaign has been structured to provoke a global emotional reaction, and Jungkook is the only star we can see. But interestingly, according to internal sources, many of the most viral moments of the photo session were not in the campaign script. Jungkook added gestures, expressions, even spontaneous poses that later became a major global visual highlight. One of the visual communication experts from New York University explained that there is a concept of fine art that is of concern to many people. When an artist is really emotionally present in front of the camera, the audience can feel it, even through the screen. On the other hand, the reaction of fans was really no less incredible. Many people cried when they saw the pictures for the first time, not by chance, but because there is something strange about Jungkook. She's not posing, wrote a fan on X, Twitter. He is opening up a part of himself that has been hidden. Similar comments flooded social media in multiple languages. From Korea, Japan, Indonesia, to Latin America, all talk about the same thing, the emotion behind the gaze. A viral thread instead featured Jungkook's expression at singer Calvin Klein, with his expression while performing on the BTS stage. According to her, according to netizens, is happiness. On stage, Jungkook is full of energy and passion. On stage, he performs strongly. But it's that passion that makes people feel like they're learning to love the most personal side of him. After the photos dominated cyberspace for a day, some industry experts began to conduct a deeper analysis. Global fashion consultant Jenna Walsh said in an interview with Business of Fashion, Jungkook doesn't just represent a brand, he's redefining the way celebrity collaborations work. He explained that in the modern era, the public is no longer interested in visual development, but in personality. And Jungkook, in a gentle yet intense way, managed to be a pioneer of that trend. Some even consider this moment the beginning of a new era for Calvin Klein, an era in which it became aesthetic. Other companies are beginning to understand this phenomenon and are trying to understand how Jungkook authenticity can be a strategic asset in global branding. However, amid all that analysis and testing, Jungkook himself has yet to become an official committee member. No long fights, no big fights, just one short sentence, he said backstage at a fashion show after the viral announcement. Sometimes, when you stop pretending, that's when the real art happens. And now, that sentence went viral, that was spread by the media around the world. Now, industry aficionados are wondering, is this just the beginning of a larger collaboration? Rumors began to circulate that Calvin Klein was developing an exclusive project with Jungkook for 2026, not just in the village, but also in a special line featuring designs and concepts directly inspired by his personal philosophy. Some are still debating the project as J Project, although there has been no official confirmation. To be sure, whatever the form will be, the moment the player behind the scenes is without a plan, that has occurred domino effect incredible. It changed the way the world looked at the relationship between fashion, expression, and honesty. And as one photographer who took part in the session said, When Jungkook steps in front of that lens, he's not just a model, he's telling the truth.